Mary G sold. Corbin sold. Crystal, that's a new dealer. Dale Springer. Doc, where's Doc? He's around here somewhere. Eli sold. Steve Adams sold. I don't know who that is. Laura Freeland sold. Jeremy C sold. Crystal sold. Eli sold. Hello. Leanne sold. Angel! What sold it?
They had just got done cleaning the carpet and her daughter was the daughter was the main one that liked it.
The daughter did? That'll work. Marion, Joseph Bradley. Who's this?
Sakina, that's
Right there. What sold it?
pretty much, we just pulled all that stuff out of the carpet, then was like, and he was comparing it to the Dyson, and I was like, use the Dyson. I'm still pulling all this out of the carpet, so, yeah, he's a clean freak.
Cool. Hugh Riley sold. Joseph Bradley sold. Eddie. Phil sold. Jeremy. He's right here. Megan sold. Phil sold. Phil's on a roll. Phil sold.
I made a mistake, I put EJ up there twice.
DJ sold again.
He only sold once.
Miriam sold. Miriam sold. Leanne sold. Leanne's a monster. Phil sold. Phil had 4 last week. Joe Bradley, what sold yours?
The first one.
No, Thursday on.
Thursday on. Thursday she was a germaphobe. The water was actually the color of like Diet Cream soda. But I let her think that it was the worst thing I've ever seen. This is the worst house you have been in. Everybody up there with her. And she cleaned every day. But what closed it was the grout. She didn't even care about the grout. When I asked her the question about how she did so black, she was like, I don't care about that stuff. But when she saw it come clean, she turned to her dad. She said, Dad, you gonna buy this for me? And he said, yeah. And then, of course, he didn't cheat herself. But then the other one was a callback. Someone who said they wanted a rainbow. And I had 3 demos that canceled on me. And then I sent him a message and said, hey, you just said you wanted a rainbow. You ready to get yours? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So
That'll work.
yeah. But they've been going through Dyson like once every 6 months. They want to call back. So,
That can happen.
yeah, expensive.
What do you want help on? I know it's a new question. It's never been asked. Joe Bradley?
Go through the transition from the back kill to the mattress kill. Because this for the last 3 demos, and it could be I've been with weird people, but the last 3 demos, I haven't gotten the room.
What do you want help on? Huh? You having a problem with it? Okay. What do you want help on?
I guess keeping organized and the order of everything. I think that's what we have on.
What do you mean by organized?
Just, what you should take out the box when and stuff
When it
like
comes
that,
up,
so
when
you
it
don't.
comes, okay, I can tell you why you're not organized and why you're asking that question. When you went through training, were you given a sheet of paper that had yellow on the bottom and yellow on the second sheet and yellow on the third sheet?
I mean, I'm looking at it. It's just, I'm saying like when I'm pulling my clothes and stuff like that, that's when I'm having a problem. Like, I mean, and it's all on there, but.
That's, you gotta go back to it. That's gotta be your Bible. That's gotta be, you go back to it. Cause see, if you're going back to it, it has a perfect memory. It will never have anything out of order. It will never leave anything out. That's why that's your memory. It's in print. Because now once you get it memorized, you don't have to learn it twice. The biggest mistake a lot of people make is they have to relearn something they did wrong. Now, to create a new habit by breaking an old one, it takes 3 weeks. How long does it take you to learn one thing? If it's already in black ink in your memory, because it's on a piece of paper, 2 or 3 times in a demo, you pretty well have it and study it. And what you'll do is now all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is next. Yeah, I'm right. This is next. I'm right. This is next. I'm right. This is next. Oh, I'm wrong. See, that's how you learn the demo. Make sense? Okay? What do you want help on? Why do you think you're not getting them?
No, it's really weird because I was talking to Tay, like, she's completely uninterested. Like, there's just times or something about how, like, there's some people you just will not get into something, even though you're like asking the right questions and doing.
Chima, quit, get in here. You don't have to make a grand entrance every time.
I'm grand. Hi, everybody.
Does everybody know Chima?
Chima!
We do now.
Yeah.
Hi, white
Your
guy.
talent scout was out front looking for you.
I know, I sent her.
Is she in training now? She was sitting out in the car.
She's very shy.
So she went back out to the car?
No, she saw Georgia and, she got the schedule.
Coming in tonight, she's going through training Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering what happened. What do you want help on?
Um,
We need a pop. A pop. I'm not gonna say it. No, it ain't.
I've taken the breath.
Your head out of your,
Yes.
you need that pop, right?
Sonic boom.
Sonic boom.
You always know.
Okay, let's talk about the back hill and the mattress transition. You're up, go. Don't you wanna learn it?
Yeah.
I gotta know what you're doing.
Okay, cool.
Are you gonna do the, because remember, every part of the demo has an opening, a body, and a close. Okay, now to do a transition right, you have to do the close from the vac hill to be able to open a mattress.
Yeah. So I'm starting.
You're gonna do the final commitment you get out of the vac hill. Okay, now do you want me to let you do all of it right or wrong? Or do you want me to stop you as you're screwing up?
Either way, whichever one's easier.
It works for me.
Okay, let's
Go,
go.
we'll figure it out.
All right. So,
You want me to be the customer?
yeah, you
I'm
can-
nice. You don't want these guys
There are
being
so
your
many
customer.
women here and you're choosing
Well,
guys.
slide your butt over here, get over here.
No,
Get over here. Come on, get over here.
no, we choose.
See, you always have to make a scene. Get over here.
He
What are
wants
you
his
trying
lady
to
next
say?
to him.
Can I see this right here? Oh, right. Never mind, I'm done with the book. Yeah. So, now do you think that it's weird when you're in front of
Alright, Tay, on the spot.
On coach.
So, so if we let this run in your house for 4 straight days, think that would get rid of the dirt and dust problem you got going on?
But after that.
You're going into the back hill.
Oh,
So you need to go out of the back
I
hill.
will go out of that hill.
So knowing that you're
Okay.
reading this, or what are you saying?
Okay, out of that hill, out of that hill.
CDC sheet.
Okay, so it's my I
What
said
language
it's
are
easier.
you?
It's almost Chinese. All right, so
To know what you know now.
so
No.
okay,
See, he's really learning now.
yeah.
Lexi.
So if you don't want- Yeah. All right, so it's after the CDC. Okay, CDC sheets in the hand.
You've already done
I've
the,
already done
you've
that
done the
part.
shake and bake.
I've done the shake and bake.
Now it's time to close the deal.
Okay, So you want to get rid of all this to get this never turn this thing on again. Okay, so you'd agree the carpet's filthy, right?
So now you're going into the mattress. Close the back.
Close the back.
Do your out.
To my out of the back. Okay, let me go back to.
Let me help you.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find out where I am.
You're lost.
Yeah.
In the middle of the desert. Nowhere to go. There's no water.
Yeah.
And you're.
Shut up, water.
Now that you know a little bit more about that, now you know what it's doing to your family.
Yes.
You really want your wife turning that back on with your kids in the same house.
Absolutely not.
Don't you have to close that?
Mm-hmm.
You have to close it. So what do you want me to do with it? Should I put it by the front door? But you realize that you could buy a $49 Hoover like it, or a $700 Dyson like it, or a $3,000 Kirby like it, because they're all the same.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get the same results.
Yeah. So how do I clean my carpet?
That's a good question. Now go.
But you would agree the carpet is filthy, right?
Oh yeah, from what you told me.
Yeah, it's extremely filthy. Now, what if I told you there's a place in your house that's 10 to 100 times filthier than your carpet, and you and your family, you probably never even tried to clean it before. But you want to clean today?
Okay, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong?
Showing the carpets, filthy.
No, what did you do wrong?
You never tried to clean it before.
No, he said that.
I do have a separate question.
Did you wanna know where it is?
But you wanna know where it is.
Oh, so it has to be a question, not a statement. Oh, that's why you're having a problem.
What did I say?
You ran it all together.
Okay,
Wait,
so,
two questions.
Yeah.
okay, so what if I told you there's a place in your house that's 10 to 100 times filthier than your carpet?
Did you wanna-
Would you wanna
Would you wanna know where it's at?
Would you want to know where it's at?
Well, yeah, I'd wanna know.
Would you want me to clean today?
No, what, you didn't ask her.
Oh,
You want her to be there, why are you eliminating her?
Oh, because she's still sitting over there.
That's all right.
Would you want? Okay.
See the difference?
Yeah.
That's why you're not getting them involved.
Yeah.
Because you're doing a presentation to them, you're not having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
See the difference?
Yeah.
So carpets are filthy. How about if I tell you there's a spot in your house that's anywhere from 10 to 1,000 times worse than your carpet? Would you want to know where it's at?
Yeah.
Would you want to know where it's at?
Yeah.
How about if I told you don't even clean it?
What is it?
Would you want me to clean it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's
Where are we going?
Now they're not gonna ask where you're going.
They're not gonna ask.
Now they're gonna follow you, right?
They're gonna
They're
follow
not gonna ask.
because it's a
Because
direct.
now what I'm gonna do is, here, Mr. Jones, you take the blue box. You're not doing that, are you? You're not doing that, are you?
Yeah.
Add this stuff to that.
And then what you do is you hand them the blue box. Mr. Jones, here, you take this. Mrs. Jones, you take the hose, and let's go.
And you start walking.
But see, but, you've got all your stuff out and ready. So you're ready to do this and hand it and go, so you don't get that question. So if you're having to pull everything out of the box at that point, you're going to get that question. But the reason you're doing it is, you had the right questions, but you turned it into a statement. They weren't questions.
Yeah.
Because now would you agree the carpet's filthy?
Yeah.
How about if I told you there's a spot in your house that's 10 to 100 times worse than your carpet?
So
Would you want to know where it's at?
yeah, so when I'm saying that, the hose should already be out. At what point do you take the hose out?
Well, no, just before I start that.
Oh, while you're talking.
But just before. It's going to tell us and take hooks out.
Not a long time.
20 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Because your rainbow's off the box, it's open. You're not going to close it back up.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
That's what the difference is. Takes you 2 seconds to pop the hose out. Here, you grab this. Let's go.
Have you got the VAC kill page open where it shows the 4 principles?
Nope, we don't do that.
You don't do that anymore?
That's you know, we don't go back to the book. Once we've got to that one page,
That's it.
we've got aerodynamics and hydrodynamics, we stop and the book's sitting right there with it open. And then the rest of the demos don't have the book.
Oh,
And the book is back to a reference point.
it's a recap kind of situation.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, remember what we learned about vacuum cleaners, they all have 4 parts.
So you use that as a summation, use the book as a summation.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'll change it.
See, that's where the difference is.
I got it.
And that's what Marty's gonna teach. So those people you got going over there, that's what they'll learn.
I'll be there watching.
But see, you know, the first thing you've gotta do is, what'd you learn about this today?
It's nasty.
You want your wife turning it back on?
Absolutely not. I didn't even know that was the case. I wouldn't know I was able to do that alone.
They're all the same. You can buy a $49 Hoover, you can buy a $700 Dyson, you can buy a $3,000 Kirby. Guess what you're gonna get? The same thing. You can't buy a sweeper, you can't buy a vacuum cleaner that has a dry filter. Not again, because that's what you're doing to your poor wife and your poor kids. So what do you want me to do with it? Get rid of it?
Yeah.
You wanna hold the door? I'll hold the door and you throw it out. But you better make sure you know where you're at, because it's gonna snap that vacuum as soon as it goes out that door. It'll land on the head of it, and it'll snap the handle right off of it.
Oh, so you literally do throw it?
Oh, hell, I've had them throw it. You don't need it.
So you're cutting.
So they don't buy the back, they don't buy.
No, we're back in the back hill. We're closing the back hill.
We're closing the back hill. Where did you stop using the proof book to go into the air bar?
At the
As soon as I bring the rainbow out.
You stopped at aerodynamics and hydrodynamics?
Yep, you stop right there. And then when you come back to the proof book, you know, basically you have a choice. You can breathe polluted air, or you can breathe water washed air. Which one do you want your family breathing?
Got it,
Make sense?
got it,
You gotta be using that.
got it.
Okay, this is everything that the rainbow will take out of your air. Then what's next? Vacuum? Here's what we learned about our vacuum cleaners today. They pollute. The worst thing about it is, pumps it all back in the air. The worst part about it is, it makes it so small you can't, it gets to the soft tissue of your lungs and ends up right in your bloodstream. That's why our allergies are worse today than they've ever been, because of HEPA filter on vacuum cleaners. And it's just like, boom, it's a recap.
See, when I was a kid, I had boogers this big in my nose. I remember that.
Now you don't have any. You just can't breathe. You have worse allergies.
Can I be my customer from last night when I was going over that part? Because she stumbled the hell out of me, but we were still able to wing it. I just wanted to see what
Okay,
you.
but I'm gonna explain to you. Would you agree that every action has a reaction?
Yes.
Okay, so if you did this action wrong and you got this, what good am I gonna do you?
It's not that I did it wrong. She's a nurse.
Okay.
And she's in the medical
I don't care.
field.
I don't give a shit if she's the, if she's God. She ain't gonna stone me because I have a set action.
Well, she was.
Okay, so where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to start?
So right now, you just handed me the CDC sheet, and I've gone over the CDC sheet with her, and then she hit you with, okay, well, yes, I'm quite aware of all these. You know, once again, I'm in the medical field, but taking out.
So let me ask you a question. Since you're in the medical field, and if you were a doctor and you had a patient that had this in the air of their house, would you tell them to keep it or get rid of it?
Well, the thing is.
No, would you have them keep it or get rid of it? You don't know what she's gonna say, because you didn't say what I just said.
I got you, but you gotta hear the rebuttal.
Whose rebuttal, yours?
Hers.
I don't care what rebuttal, I'd have shut her down at that point.
Okay. And I
See, there's something, see, I don't hand them the CDC sheet until I've asked all the questions. You know who the CDC is?
Of course.
Yeah, you're a nurse. You know exactly who it is. Because if somebody comes in real sick, who do they bring in? The CDC. Let's see what the CDC says about what's in carpet. But let me ask you a question. Do you have a 5-second rule or a 10-second rule on the carpet when the kids drop something?
5 seconds.
How about what's your rule?
Yeah, just 5 seconds.
You still drop stuff on the carpet, you pick it up?
Yeah.
She just screwed herself at that point. She ain't no damn nurse. I've just called her on it. So anything she plays after that, I'm gonna call her on it.
Her whole thing was.
No, wait. If you don't do the CDC sheet right, you can't give me what she gave you. Have you forgot I used to sell rainbows?
No.
Have you forgot I've been in a home?
No.
Have you forgot I sold a lot of rainbows?
No. That's why I'm coming to you.
I know, but you gotta remember, the thing about it is, whatever it was, I would have cashed it with the CDC sheet. First of all, you're not supposed to hand it to them.
Okay.
Your CDC sheet's wrong if you're handing it to them. And who the hell took my CDC sheet off the board? Who gave me a CDC sheet? I don't have it memorized.
Really?
Why would I memorize it?
You're not supposed to.
When you got a brain as big as your head, right? And you're as smart as you are, memorize the damn thing. But when you got a brain the size of a pea, you can't put extra stuff in it. Because you end up with split pea soup. Right? I am not as smart as you.
Yes, you are.
No,
Smarter
I'm
than
just
me.
good at the rainbow business. Right? I have a doctorate degree in the rainbow business. You have a doctorate degree about shit that's out there. Hi, Tay. Yeah, you just getting started or finished? Okay, let's see what the CD says. Do you have a 5-second rule?
Yes.
And your kids have a 5-second rule?
Yes.
Have you ever read this? Bacteria found on interior furnishings. The average home over floors, carpets, harbors about 200,000 bacteria on every square inch.
Well, some things are necessary. You can't just eliminate everything, because then if you eliminate everything, you'll
Okay, let me ask you a question. So, are you a scrub nurse? Are you a surgical nurse? You're a surgical nurse in a neurosurgery. You want that bacteria count in there? You want it in a hospital? You want it in a doctor's office? Then why would you want it in your house? There's over 2,000 on a square inch. But if that's not bad enough, it's 4,000 times as bad as your toilet seat. So if your son dropped a cookie on a toilet seat, you know what he needed? Because you gotta have some of it. Would you eat it?
No.
You gotta have some of it. You're at the hospital and you're eating cookies while you're sitting there doing your business. Oh shit, there goes my cookie. I'll eat it. Oh, no problem. It only sat there for 4.5 seconds. Let's at least get 2 or 3. Let's get a little bit more. We didn't get it because you gotta have it.
Oh, gosh.
You don't need it. Does that make sense? And if your family has allergies, I don't have to explain to you what E. coli does.
No.
People are getting sick all the time.
But it's just
But
like
you don't want it in your
vaccines.
house.
It's
You don't
like
want it in your
vaccines.
house.
Your body
It's not a
can't treat it
vaccine.
unless-
It's not a vaccine.
Your body
It's not a
can't treat it.
vaccine. Tell me that you don't really care how clean your house is because you scrub every day at work, and I'll leave now. Because I guarantee you one thing, you vacuum? You do? And I would hope that I have a vacuum cleaner with a dry filter, with a bag, because I'll tell you exactly what I'd do. I'd open it up and I'd tear that sumbitch open.
Yeah.
If it's a vaccine, stick your head in there and take a deep breath. Hell, I used to do it with the old Kirby's that had the paper bags.
Sure did.
Oh, that's where I started.
That's where.
I'd open it up. You really want to see what your family's breathing? I'd pop that sumbitch. And if I'd have had shake and bake back then, oh my God. I'd have sold 92% instead of 91. And we didn't have CDC back then. But see, you're not gonna have somebody in there. And if she don't want to play my game, I don't need to waste my time. You wash your hands at work, why? Because you don't want that stuff. And I guarantee you one thing. You know why they don't use a regular vacuum cleaner in the hospital? Because of this right here. And if you got any kind of doctor that has anything besides mud in his head, he's going to tell you your family does not need to be breathing that. I know one thing, I don't want my kids breathing that. You want your kids breathing that? See, here's the difference. You didn't know that it was in the house. Because if you did, you wouldn't have it here. That's what I told somebody the other night. I said, the problem is, you didn't know it was there before we got there. Now you know it's there. How long are you gonna sleep in that bed? Now you know it's dead skin. Now when your arm itches, it's the EBGBs. Now you know there's bugs in there. Well, I just have to sleep with them. Not well. That's why you can't get off on your squirrel chases. You gotta get the demo down, and if you get somebody like that, see, that's why I wanna do. So, here's the thing about it is, now aren't you sick when you got a compromised immune system? That's what it says about that. Oh, she's a nurse, and she has a compromised immune system? So let me ask you a question, when you're around all the sick people, are you cautious? Or you just don't, what do you need, a vaccine? You gotta get some of it so you don't get sick. Dumbass. I'd have ate her for lunch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Learn the demo, that's all I'm doing, I'm not changing the demo. Make sense?
Yeah.
See, that's why you've got to learn the demo, because that's where you're gonna have the confidence. I don't care who they are. If this doesn't bother you, I'm okay with it. I'm here to do one thing, show you what it can do. And if at one point in your life you don't want to live in it, or you're tired of getting sick, you'll call me. Because you're not gonna sell them all.
After I started pouring
And then, see, that's gonna be the lady that says, well, who really buys this thing? Smart people. I love that one. So what you're telling me is if I don't buy, I'm stupid? Well, you said it, I didn't. But I'm gonna agree with you.
Smarter people than you already own a rainbow.
I have one.
See, smart people buy rainbows. Because have you ever done a demo? You have too. I know you have, you probably have. You might have. What kind of people, you'd have to be stupid not to buy a rainbow. You ever had somebody say that? I've had it in the house. You'd have to be, you've had somebody say it? Yeah.
I've had somebody say it when their friend who didn't buy it was sitting in the demo watching. And then the person who was there said, anybody who doesn't get this would have to be like brain dead. Like this is like,
It just makes
it
sense.
just makes sense. And their
How
friend
could you,
sitting
how
there,
could you not want?
Oh.
Yeah. I've actually had it where the customer who didn't get one bought it too because the friend was getting it and said that.
Have you ever have you ever done a mattress demo, and while you're watching the guy that's recruiting you doing the mattress demo, the lady goes in the bathroom and has a
Hacks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want. When I start closing up their sinuses and stuff, I hope I make them sick. Man, all this dust you're stirring up's making me sick. Well, that's what my job is. I want you to understand what it is. It's why you're having all the symptoms you've got. You're the one that told me that you had this and you had that and you had this, and didn't I tell you I was going to show you where dust comes from? Doesn't I tell you that I showed you how you're going to get rid of it? That's all I'm doing. At any point in time, you can get your checkbook out. I got another guy who says, how many of these claws are you going to put? I'll tell you to get your checkbook out. But you gotta have a demo that backs it. Does that make sense? Just like you've got to shut down the backfill. Mr. Jones, what do you want me to do with this? What's your opinion of it now?
It sucks. Well, it actually doesn't.
So they don't know that yet.
Oh, they don't know that yet.
Yeah, they don't know that yet because I haven't done any cleaning.
Right.
I don't want that damn thing turned back on in my house. See, that's what you're supposed to accomplish. Now, if you've done that, that's where the deal. Let's go back and do a close off the deal. We've got okay, another thing that you need to do. How many of you are turning their vacuum cleaner on, and as soon as you set it down, you've got the rainbow back on?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not sold on the rainbow. You're selling bullshit. Here, I gotta turn this on a minute. I can't take that dust. It'll kill me. Whew. Hold on 1 second.
Oh man, it's a good thing we had the rainbow in the house to clean the air, isn't
And guess what? That odor will be gone just like that. Oh, I'm glad you did that. I didn't even think about it, but that sure makes a lot of sense. That shows that you're sold on the product you're selling. That's gotta be in there.
I'll throw a couple of coughs in there too when I turn that vacuum cleaner on. And even though it's in their face, and I'll ask them, you know, how's this roses a butt? On a scale of roses to butt, what's clean or unclean? Unclean. It smells safe or unsafe? Unsafe. Let's smell healthy or unhealthy? Unhealthy. You ready for me to turn it off? Please. Are you sure you're ready for me to turn this off? Yeah. Turn it off. So I'll turn it off and gotta clean the air.
Academy Award.
It sure is a good thing we got this rainbow here to clean the air, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is.
You're a drama
Academy
queen.
Award.
Buddy works.
You wanna know why he sold 4 machines last week? He believes in his product. Make sense? Okay, what'd you get out of the meeting? You don't have a personality to say that. You'll get your ass blasted out. Make sense? You gotta learn how to have a personality before you put roses or butt. Make sense? What'd you get out of it?
The transition from vacuum to the bed, the mattress.
It's gotta be questions. Yeah. It's gotta be questions.
To wait before we say anything after asking the question for the day.
But part of it is learning where you have questions and where you have statements. Yeah. You can't come across as a prosecuting attorney.
Just having a conversation and really using,
The demo.
using the demo, but, making it make sense so that it's just really better.
What's the difference if you do that? What does it change?
It changes their understanding.
They're not defensive.
Yeah.
They're not defending themselves. You're coming across too strong. Let me ask you another question. Now you rat your dad. He's standing up when he does the demo, doesn't he? He's not? Is he doing it from a chair? Or kneeling? You sat on the couch with him? Oh, hell no. No, because you're trying to talk past somebody. You gotta go get a kitchen chair and sit out in front of him.
No, I'm not on the same couch. I'm not facing.
You're too far away then.
I'm facing.
You're too far away then. If I'm doing the demo, I should be right here. I need to be in their comfort zone. If you're on another couch, you're back over here.
How far am I?
There ain't no couches in anybody's houses that's any closer than that.
Oh, like the side.
You're still too far away.
Okay.
Because see, you may be right here, how do you reach her? You may be all over him, you may be sitting on his lap, but you can't reach her. Or now you're too much in her space because you're trying to reach across her.
Gotcha.
You've got to be out in front, and you need to control the situation. Okay, I want you to sit on the couch and act like you're newlyweds, but if you start kissing, you'll embarrass me. I set them down just like that. I want them right there. I want them right together. I'm controlling the situation.
Okay.
The easiest demo, I remember one of the easiest demos I ever did, I had 5 kids and 2 parents sitting on a couch, on a love seat, where there's a complete full-size couch sitting over here. There was kids laying on each one of the arms, across the back, and one in the center. And you take all that emotion piled on that one deal, do you think it was a hard deal? I'm controlling the situation. And that's the hardest thing to teach new people is you have to control the situation. Make sense?
Controlling the situation in the house.
Are you gonna put,
This last week, I have backed off that.
you gotta get back in there. Gotta get back in there. What'd you get out of it?
Improving the bag deal.
Make sure you've got good clothes on. You gotta make sure they get that point. George Brown?
How do you do it?